Yeah, this is a very short video with some ideas about how to get funding and sponsorship for your teaching association. Do you have any ideas? Okay, let's have a look at some ideas now. Right, so there are lots of projects and lots of funding you can apply for that happens every year, that you can apply every year for, and you might be lucky to get. So this first one here is the Hornby Teaching Association projects. Usually the deadline is in October, but look at their website because it could change. Look at their website every so often. It is usually up to £2,000 for a special project, and you need to fill in all the application forms and plan everything in quite a lot of detail. And they usually offer help with the application project. Somebody from Hornby will actually help you if you send off the project plan with enough time before the deadline. That's a really good one. I know some teaching associations that have got that, and you have to write up the project afterwards and they publish it. There's another smaller one, the Roger Bowers Teacher Participation Grants. That's you can find that information about that on the same website, the Hornby Trust. I think it's going to be advertised in April this year, and it's a smaller amount of money to allow teachers to participate who wouldn't normally be able to participate. For example, teachers who live in the countryside. Have a look at that one and apply. There is the IATEFL projects. This is for teaching associations who don't, from countries where the income is not very high. And you can apply for up to £1,500. Have a look at this link here. The closing date is the 31st of March. So it's a really good idea to apply for that one. And you can find out more information there. Of course, you have to have a plan ready. The Prelim is another one. That's the Partnered Remote English Language Improvement Project. The website there. That's a joint project between the British Council and IATEFL. And they've done 3 versions so far. I don't know if they're going to do any more, but it's been involving lots and lots of teaching associations around the world, improving the language of lots of their members. Some red points at the bottom. When you're filling in these applications, you must always read the instructions, follow the instructions very, very carefully. For example, if it says up to 200 words, don't put any more than 200. If it says at least 200 words, you must put more than 200, okay? Get someone to read your application and give you feedback to help, because this is quite stiff competition. And look out for all these opportunities and more. There could be more from TESOL, for example. For example, on the Africa ELTA WhatsApp group and website and Facebook, because they often advertise and promote some of these funding opportunities. Okay, what about getting sponsorship for specific events or specific items? Now, for conferences and training days, it's a really good idea to approach some local companies. This can be banks, phone companies, publishers, any companies which would be interested in being promoted amongst the teachers. You could ask them for a specific thing like paying for the venue or paying for the speakers or the transport costs. You could ask them to sponsor the lunch or the coffee break, or you could have different amounts ready to see how much they want to provide. You could ask them to provide the pens or the notepads, prizes, internet data, bags, anything like that, depending on how much they are willing to give and how much you could get from them. And they need to get something back as well. So it could be in exchange for promotion of their business. You could have some big promotion banners around, or you could put the name of the bank, for example, on the pens, on the bags, or you could promote the company in the conference booklet. You have to give them something back for what they're giving you. Okay, you could also get sponsorship for big projects, big activities. What you need to do here is try to match the objectives of the business you're approaching with the objectives of your project or activity, so they match up in some way. For example, a company that provides period products for girls, you could approach them to ask them to sponsor an event about inequality for girls. It's in their interest. It's something they would like to be involved in, hopefully. If you're doing a tree planting project in schools, you could ask a gardening company to provide the trees with a plaque, for example, advertising the company by the tree. That's their advertising. You could ask a paper or book company or a publishers for materials and resources if you were doing a project training volunteer teachers in a refugee camp, for example. And then the company will use your report, your photos, your evidence as part of their promotion because it makes them look good too. Everyone wins. Okay, and here are some final tips. Okay, you need to be open with the sponsor. You need to be prepared to share your budgets, your event plans, the feedback, if they ask you for it, if they're interested. You have to maintain some sort of contact with the sponsor, send them photos, send them feedback, keep in touch with them. You must promote and thank the sponsors. For example, all these things, it could be on your website, social media, newsletter, publications. Okay, you can promote them before the event, thank them after the event. And it's a really good idea to develop some positive relationships with these sponsors, these companies or funders, so that you can ask them several times for support. If you get a good relationship, often companies like this will continue to sponsor your events every year or regularly. Okay, that is